Have you ever experienced that sudden stomach-dropping realization? When something truly important, something you've diligently built or set aside for a vital purpose, just
Oh
vanishes.
yeah, that specific knot in your gut.
Exactly. Imagine that feeling, but amplified like 1,000 times, especially when it's funds meticulously collected for something like a high school student club.
Right before their biggest competition of the year, too.
Precisely. It's more than just, a financial hit. It's a deep emotional blow.
Absolutely. It shatters trust, it undermines all that hard work, and it can threaten the very foundation of what they've built. Leaves everyone feeling violated, incredibly vulnerable.
And that's exactly the crucible into which our deep dive plunges today. We're stepping right into the heart of a real-world phishing scam, one that landed with just a devastating impact on a high school debate team right when they needed their resources most.
And this isn't some, like, abstract case study.
No, not at all. Our sources are vivid excerpts from a narrative titled Cass and the Phishing Case, and honestly, it reads less like a dry report and more like a gripping detective story.
Yeah, full of surprising twists and turns. And it's all pieced together from detailed notes and observations from a key character who is right in the thick of it.
So our mission today is to meticulously unpack this fascinating case for you. We're going to trace every remarkable step taken by this group of incredibly determined, well, amateur investigators.
We'll highlight the often surprising ways seemingly totally separate clues can weave together into a coherent picture, and hopefully offer you some valuable, tangible insights into how these insidious types of financial crimes unfold.
And how they're eventually painstakingly unraveled.
Exactly. We're not just looking at what happened, but how the truth was uncovered. And maybe even more importantly, what critical, actionable lessons you, our listener, can take away from it for your own digital security.
Okay, let's really get into this. Our story kicks off with a scene that's probably familiar to anyone who's traveled for a competition or a conference. Mrs. E, she's the dedicated debate team advisor, arrives at this bustling hotel for an out-of-town competition.
Hmm.
Alongside her are Cass Locke and Jada Myrilis, two of her, star debaters.
Hmm.
They're all buzzing with anticipation, ready to check into their 3 pre-booked rooms, gear up for the big day.
Right, standard procedure, excitement's high.
But then that excitement just evaporates. The hotel clerk tries to process Mrs. E's payment for the rooms, and it gets rejected.
Oh no.
Not just once, twice. And then the words that just hit like a physical blow, the debate club account is utterly, inexplicably empty.
Wow. You can almost feel the blood drain from her face in that moment, can't you?
Totally. She knows with absolute certainty there should have been well over $5,000 in that account.
Yeah, the source describes her reaction as just bewildered disbelief.
Yeah.
Quickly followed by this, like, desperate, almost frantic attempt to log into the account right there in the lobby.
Looking, as the narrative says, like she's going to be sick.
Yeah. It's that moment of utter helplessness, you know? A sudden chasm just opening up beneath her feet.
And the immediate, harsh reality of that financial vacuum hits hard. 0 funds available.
So what do?
They're left with no choice but to cram all 3 of them into a single room for the night.
Oh, wow. Imagine the stress, the crushing disappointment, feeling like you've let your students down before the competition even starts.
It's a truly terrible, anxiety-ridden start to what should have been an exciting weekend.
Absolutely. And this immediate personal crisis, while, devastating in itself, ironically becomes the catalyst. It sets the stage for the first unsettling hint that this wasn't just some banking error.
Exactly. Not just an admin mistake. Something more insidious was at play.
Mm-hmm.
So while Mrs. E is wrestling with this financial catastrophe, Cass, who seems to be a really keen observer, decides to take a quick break, goes off to get some ice, and that's when she overhears it. Just a casual but really impactful snippet of conversation.
What did she hear?
2 guys, who she quickly realizes are opponents from another debate team, are talking. One of them mentions, almost dismissively, Garrett Academy was broke.
Ouch.
Yeah, openly speculating that Mrs. C's team might not even show up. For them, it's just throwaway pre-competition chatter. Right?
Sure, trash talk almost.
But for Cass, it plants this significant, deeply unsettling seed of suspicion. Like, how would they know that already?
That's a really crucial moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
A subtle but powerful psychological turning point. because Mrs., despite her own mounting anxiety and humiliation, is still consumed by her responsibility to the girls.
Totally. She's apologizing profusely, voice filled with despair, even offering to just forfeit and go home if they're uncomfortable sharing the room.
But Cass and Jada, their determination, partly fueled by that insulting comment Cass overheard.
It's unwavering.
They're not going home. No way. They refuse to let this setback define their efforts.
Good for them. And here's where the mystery really deepens for you, the listener. Mrs. E, trying to offer some reassurance amidst her own confusion, states definitively that the school itself, Garrett Academy, is financially sound.
Okay, that's important.
Right. This single piece of info, seemingly minor, instantly makes the empty debate club account even more perplexing, more targeted.
Yeah, it clarifies this isn't some general institutional crisis. It's something specific that has directly hit their funds.
It's the first real hint that this isn't just a banking error. It feels deliberate, like something much larger, much more malicious.
Indeed. It shifts the whole narrative, doesn't it? From a simple, if awful, financial glitch to the unnerving possibility of an external, deliberate attack.
Puts their minds in a different gear entirely. They're not just problem-solving a bank issue now. They're potentially investigating a crime.
Right.
So the next morning, the tension in that single hotel room, you can imagine, it's almost suffocating. Mrs. E, she's too worried to even think about breakfast. Immediately logs into the bank's online chat support.
Hunched over the laptop, waves of anxiety. I can picture it.
And then the chilling news finally comes through from the bank.
What did they say?
The bank rep, almost matter-of-factly, confirms that, according to their meticulously kept records, Mrs. E herself supposedly withdrew all the funds, the previous morning. And what's even more jarring and incredibly revealing is their insistence that her specific account was digitally signed in for the withdrawal.
Her account. So they're saying she did it.
Essentially, yes. And then, a detail that is absolutely crucial for understanding how this happened, they state they would email her the login details.
Email the login details. That sounds insecure.
Right. It immediately hints at a key vulnerability or maybe a flawed assumption on the bank's part about account security that Miss E just unknowingly played into. It suggests a process that could be easily exploited.
Wow. Okay.
And Mrs. E, of course, she passionately denies it. She recounts, in detail how impossible that would have been. She was in class all morning until lunchtime.
Right, she has an alibi.
Exactly. No opportunity to log in and make that kind of transaction. But the bank's unyielding counterargument that her account was used and they'd email her details just compounds her confusion and distress.
It sounds like they're blaming her for a crime she couldn't have committed.
That's exactly how it must have felt.
Yeah.
And this is where a small, seemingly innocent detail, something buried in her recent memory, suddenly floods back.
Okay.
Triggering what becomes the aha moment for the whole investigation. Missy E, desperately racking her brain, remembers the only reason she logged into the account recently.
Yes.
She'd received an email about an alumni who wanted to donate to the club.
Ah, there it is.
That single, seemingly benign detail is the linchpin. The thread that allows Cass and Jada to unravel the whole deception.
And they recognize it instantly, I bet.
Like lightning. "You've been fished," they exclaim, basically in unison.
Classic.
And Mrs. E, bless her heart, in a brief moment of much-needed levity, humorously misunderstands, thinks they mean fishing with a rod and reel, or maybe even the band Fish.
Huh. It's funny, but also kind of sad, right? It shows how the language of cybercrime itself can be a barrier.
Exactly. And for scammers, that gap in understanding is precisely what they exploit.
Absolutely. But the girls quickly clarified the real insidious mechanism. The donation wasn't genuine. It was just a pretense, a carefully crafted social engineering lure.
Designed to exploit Mrs. E's good intentions and get her to log into her account.
Right. Which allowed the scammers to potentially capture her login details. Maybe through a fake login page that looked identical to the real bank's site credential harvesting.
Or even more cunningly, they might have tricked her into unknowingly facilitating the transfer herself while she thought she was processing a donation.
Yeah, it's a classic tactic, either looking over your shoulder digitally, recording her inputs, or exploiting those seemingly harmless security details like mother's maiden name, first pet.
Things you might give away without thinking. The email about a donation was the hook, designed to bypass her skepticism by appealing to her generosity.
Textbook spearfishing.
Yeah.
Tailored specifically to her role and the club's activities.
Yeah.
Very targeted.
So the gravity of the situation finally truly sinks in for Ms. E. Her panic becomes palpable. $5,000 is gone. I can't afford to pay that back. I already owe tens of thousands in student loans.
Oh, the fear of being fired, too. Just devastating.
Her voice is just laced with despair. But even then, her dedication to her team shines through. Girls, we have to go. The debate starts shortly. Just put this out of your head, she urges them, trying to field them.
Remarkable resilience, really, trying to compartmentalize even in that crisis.
But Cass, ever the pragmatist, knows they absolutely cannot just put this out of their head.
No way.
This is where she takes decisive action. Without hesitation, she calls Dr. J, this renowned cybersecurity expert.
Smart move, calling in the cavalry.
Dr. J, we've got trouble, she says, straight to the point. Mrs. E has fallen victim to a phishing attack. We're going to need your immediate help.
Shows a lot of trust in Dr. J.
Definitely. And the expert responds quickly, says they'll be there by noon. Cass also makes a really smart strategic call about jurisdiction.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Suggests it's best to report the crime to their local police back home for easier follow-up.
That is smart. Jurisdiction in cybercrime is notoriously tricky. Reporting it back home means their local police can start the investigation faster, avoiding delays coordinating between different cities or states.
Exactly. And despite this looming financial disaster, the team's resolve to compete, to not let this crime win, remains totally unshaken. The debate must go on.
That introduction of a professional element, Dr. J, is often so crucial in these complex cybercrimes. It bridges that gap between personal crisis and structured technical investigation. Gives them a fighting chance.
So Dr. J arrives right as Ms. E, Cass, and Jada are heading out for a quick lunch. They decide to grab hot dogs in a park nearby, trying to get a semblance of normalcy.
Good idea. Get some air.
And almost before the catch-up is on the bun, Dr. J immediately dives into Ms. E's laptop. Fingers flying across the keyboard, meticulously piecing together every scrap of digital evidence.
Okay, the real investigation begins.
And the initial discovery Dr. J makes almost immediately is critical.
What is it?
The money didn't just vanish into some digital black hole. It went directly from the debate account to an investment account, specifically an account in the name Pharaoh Ickles.
Pharaoh Ickles. Okay, a name. That's huge.
Monumental. It instantly narrows their focus, links the scam to a concrete individual. It's no longer just a nebulous phishing attack. There's a face, a name, a destination for the stolen funds, their first clear target.
Gives them something solid to pursue.
But then, just as that glimmer of hope appears, devastating news.
Oh no, what now?
Dr. J, after a few more keystrokes, reveals that this investment, placed in Pharaoh Ickles' name, went belly up almost as soon as Ickles invested it.
Oh, so the money's gone.
The stark reality sinks in. Even if they catch Ickles, the stolen $5,000 is likely just gone, lost in a failed scheme. It's a real gut punch after that brief breakthrough.
Truly devastating.
Yeah.
But this is also where Dr. J's expertise really shines, introducing that layer of complexity. She doesn't just stop at the obvious.
Right. What does she suggest?
She poses this incredibly insightful question. Dr. J wonders if maybe Ickles was set up.
Set up?
Yeah, like an easy person to blame. Maybe the person behind the investment scheme Ickles fell for is the real mastermind, just using Ickles as a convenient, maybe unwitting pawn.
Wow. Okay, so it might be bigger than just Ickles.
Exactly. This hypothesis immediately broadens their scope, shifts from a single perpetrator to maybe a network or a deeper conspiracy, where Ickles might be a victim himself, in a way, just one now entangled in a major fraud.
This theory immediately sparks this bold, maybe risky impulse in Cass, with her self-proclaimed excellent thief skills.
Or maybe just resourcefulness.
Right, probably more accurate. She decides to take matters into her own hands. She attempts to shadow Ickles through the hotel.
Risky. Especially in a well-lit public place.
Incredibly risky. She manages for a while, testament to her stealth, but then the inevitable happens. He catches her following him, locks eyes.
Oof. Game over for direct surveillance.
Pretty much. It starkly highlights the difficulties and risks of amateur sleuthing.
Absolutely. No matter how resourceful you are, direct surveillance without training or backup can quickly lead to compromise. As the source says, further direct observation becomes nigh impossible.
Virtually impossible, yeah. So the setback, while frustrating, kind of pushes them to think more creatively, find new, less overt ways to investigate.
They can't just follow him around anymore.
So direct shadowing is out, but the universe, it seems, sometimes delivers clues in the most unexpected ways.
Serendipity.
Totally. While enjoying a quiet cup of tea in the hotel lounge, Dr. Jane, not even actively looking, just taking a moment, overhears this deeply significant conversation.
Between who?
Between Ickles and his associate, Eaton, it's pure, unexpected investigative gold.
What did she hear? This is crucial.
Okay, so Dr. J, with her keen ear, overhears Ickles revealing, in this moment of unguarded desperation, that he took a substantial amount of money from his own trust fund.
The trust fund.
And lost it all in an investment scheme. And here's the kicker, the time pressure. He has less than 30 days to pay back the lost funds, or his grandfather will find out and reclaim the entire trust.
Wow. Okay, that's a motive. A huge, immediate, desperate motive to get money fast.
Exactly. It immediately refines Dr. J's earlier patsy theory. While Ickles might also be a victim of a bad investment, he now has a very strong, intensely personal, time-sensitive reason to commit fraud himself to cover his own huge losses.
Yeah, that changes everything. He's not just a potential scapegoat anymore. He's a man under immense pressure, driven by a desperate need.
The trust fund's detail adds that layer of personal desperation, too. Maybe hints at a history of reckless financial behavior or entitlement that's now backfiring spectacularly.
It paints a much more complex picture of him. It underscores that fundamental truth about crime, right? It often stems not from inherent evil, but from acute personal crises and the perceived need for quick solutions, however illicit.
Even someone from a privileged background can be driven to desperate measures when their security is threatened. So with this vital new information about Ickles' crushing desperation, Cass, ever bold, proposes their next incredibly risky move.
What is it this time?
I think our next best move is when Ickles and Eaton go for dinner. I'll have a look around his room. A break-in.
Whoa. Okay, crossing a line there.
Mrs. immediately, vehemently objects. No, Kaz, I can't let you commit a crime to help me. I did something stupid. I'll pay for my own mistakes.
Understandable reaction.
Ah.
It highlights the ethical boundaries they're suddenly facing. She's grappling with the guilt, doesn't want to compound it with another illegal act by her students.
But Cass, with that steely determination, has a counter-argument ready.
Of course she does.
It's not a crime if I don't get caught, and I won't. You and Jada can have eyes on Ickles the whole time. If it looks like he's headed back, just text me. It'd be more dangerous if I didn't have lookouts, and you know I'll do this with or without help.
Wow. That's bold. Shows her unwavering, maybe ethically flexible nature when it comes to getting answers. She's willing to push boundaries.
And Jada, loyal and pragmatic, steps up. I'll help Cass, Mrs. E. That way you can stay out of it.
Solidarity. Showing that strong team bond.
Mrs. E, visibly defeated, recognizing Cass's unstoppable force, just sighs and reluctantly agrees. Says she's beat.
The lines between right and wrong are definitely blurring in their desperate quest for justice, driven by that sense of injustice.
So the stage is set for this incredibly tense, high-stakes hotel room break-in. Cass, with Jada and Mrs. E on lookout, manages to get into Ickles' room.
Okay, what does she find?
What she finds inside is far more disturbing and unexpected than she anticipated. She describes it with visceral shock as a disgusting mess.
Messy room, okay.
But adds a particularly unsettling detail. Blood-soaked tissues all over the floor, the bed.
Blood. Whoa, that's alarming. What on earth caused that?
Exactly. It immediately adds this dark, unexpected dimension to Ickles' character and his situation. Transforms him from just a privileged asshole, as the notes call him, into someone potentially involved in something much messier, maybe violent, maybe self-destructive.
Definitely complicates the picture of a clean financial fraudster. Suggests underlying turmoil.
What's truly fascinating, almost chilling, is that amidst this chaos, Cass still manages to zero in on key evidence. Incredible focus.
Like what?
First clue. A neatly typed list of purchases Ickles had planned to buy with the profits of his investment.
Okay, a wish list.
Yeah, but here's the kicker. It explicitly shows money flowing from the trust plus $5,000 going into the investment with projected profits of triple the initial investment.
The $5,000, the exact amount stolen. That's a smoking gun, right?
It seems like it, but the neatly typed nature is a huge red flag.
How so?
It immediately raises suspicion. Could it be planted evidence, designed to frame Ickles or mislead investigators? While it directly links the stolen $5,000 to his scheme, its pristine presentation suggests a level of premeditation or manipulation. Maybe someone else is pulling the strings.
Compelling, but with a built-in question mark about its origin. Interesting. What else?
Then Cass makes a second, equally unsettling discovery. An instructional brochure for Mrs. E's bank on how to transfer and receive funds member to member.
For Ms. E's bank? That's highly suspicious. Why would he have that specific brochure detailing how to do member-to-member transfers?
Exactly. It's a direct operational link. strongly suggests he was either specifically targeting her bank or meticulously studying its transfer methods to exploit them.
Even if it's nondescript, as the source says, without his name on it. Its presence in his room is incredibly damning circumstantially.
It's a critical piece of the puzzle. Strong circumstantial evidence, but still needs more to definitively link him to the act of getting and using it.
So these physical clues paint a compelling, if still incomplete, picture. Strengthens the case against Ickles, but leaves nagging holes, hints at deeper layers, especially with that typed list.
Right. They still have some significant digging to do. The full truth remains elusive.
Precisely. Compelling leads, undeniably. But the deeper truth often lies in unexpected, seemingly unrelated places, connecting those dots.
And this is where Cass has another one of those aha moments. Recognizes a common investigative pitfall.
Which is?
She tells Mrs. E, I should have started with you to begin with. You're the victim. If we can figure out how you became a target, we'd probably be a lot closer to solving this.
Focusing on the victimology. It's a crucial correction. Understanding the victim's background, their history, can reveal why they were targeted, which can lead to who did it.
It's often overlooked when the focus is just on the crime itself. So Cass pivots, probes Mrs. E about her past, specifically asking about any ties to Baker City.
Baker City. Why there specifically? Just a hunch.
Seems like an intuitive leap. And Mrs. E's revelation is indeed significant. She explains that after graduating, while waiting for a teaching job, she worked temporary part-time jobs in Baker City.
Okay.
Describes feeling trapped there before finally moving to Garrett. This period seems innocuous at first, but the specific jobs, that's where it gets interesting.
What were the jobs?
He worked for a developer, then as a bike messenger, and crucially, for a defense attorney in a law office.
Oh, law office. Okay.
This last job, she recounts, was particularly unsettling. Remembers clients staring, making her feel naked, exposed, even asking her out. Created this uncomfortable, vulnerable environment that led her to quit.
Highlights a past feeling of being observed or targeted, even back then. Interesting parallel.
And here's where the puzzle pieces truly click into place. Mrs. E, actively recalling her past now, suddenly remembers a specific unsettling client from that law office, a client named Ickles.
Ickles from Baker City.
Yes. She notes it couldn't have been Pharaoh due to age, but almost certainly his father or older brother. And the case had something to do with a charity set up to help new immigrants to the city.
Wow. The familial connection to the name and to a past financial crime involving a charity suddenly becomes very real.
It's a monumental discovery, a true turning point, because it unequivocally establishes this deeply troubling pattern.
Yeah, the current fraud against Mrs. E is now linked to a history of financial crimes within the Ickles family, across generations, provides critical context for Pharaoh's actions, suggests learned behavior, familial inclination towards deceit, maybe even direct influence.
It transforms this single event into part of a broader systemic pattern, like a family modus operandi.
Exactly. That generational pattern in financial crimes is fascinating and often overlooked.
So with this explosive new lead, the family history of fraud, Jada uses her socials dive skills, searches for Ickles family members in Baker City online.
Finds anything.
No arrests or suits on social media, which isn't surprising. People don't usually broadcast that. But Cass, with her knack for deeper research, dives into newspaper archives.
Old school research paying off.
Big time. She unearths the definitive link, an article detailing how Amar Ickles, undeniably a relative, was charged with a whole list of serious offenses: fraud, embezzlement, theft by deception, money laundering, collecting money under false pretenses.
And it was related to that immigrant charity, Missy, you remembered.
Directly related, this is the ultimate smoking gun. Historical evidence connecting the present phishing scam to a deep-rooted family history of systemic fraud.
Emphatically suggests financial crime isn't just an isolated incident for Pharaoh, but potentially a deeply rooted familial trait passed down. And exploiting an immigrant charity speaks volumes about the lack of moral boundaries.
The significance of finding Amar Ickles cannot be overstated. Confirms Mrs. E's memory, provides that chilling pattern, raises critical questions about Pharaoh's influence or involvement in past activities, adds this whole new disturbing layer.
Creates this powerful narrative of interconnectedness, where the past casts a long, dark shadow over the present, revealing the hidden roots of criminal behavior.
So with the Ickles family's sordid history exposed, Cass decides it's time for a dangerous game. Shifts strategy. Goes hard on Shay Eaton, Ickles' associate.
Leveraging his connection and fear.
Exactly. Devises a bold bluff. Confronts him. Say, Shay, are you ready to go to jail with your bud? claims she reviewed the phishing email with Dr. J, traced the IP address back to Ickles.
Does she actually have that IP proof? Or is it a bluff?
Seems like a calculated bluff. Adds that she and Jada overheard Eaton bragging about Garrett's money troubles in the elevator.
Using that overheard comment, too. Smart. It's Cass's raw cunning coming through, leveraging perceived evidence and fear.
She masterfully creates leverage, convincing Eaton cooperating is his only way to clear his name. Tells him he needs to record Ickles' confession.
Puts him in a tough spot. Record his friend or risk going down with him.
It's definitely morally gray. Shows Cass's willingness to manipulate to achieve her goals, walking that tightrope between ethics and the pursuit of justice.
So does Eaton agree?
He does. The tension is immense as Cass preps her phone for recording, slips it into Eaton's pocket. Jada and Cass huddle close, listening intently as Eaton knocks on Ickles' door.
What happens inside?
Eaton cuts straight to it, voice laced with fear and maybe feigned anger.
Pharaoh, we gotta talk.
Yeah.
Look, that Cassie girl knows what you've done. Explicitly mentions fishing that poetry teacher.
He lays it out there.
Now that bitch Cassie's trying to fix me up for it. What the hell do you plan to do about it?
Okay, putting the pressure on Ickles. How does Ickles respond?
And here, Ickles, caught off guard, delivers the incriminating response they needed. Instead of denying it, he brazenly states, I'll fix it. First, I'll get whatever evidence she has on me back, then I'll fix her.
Fix her? Wow, that's chilling. It's not just admitting the phishing, it's a direct threat against Cass. Utterly devastating. Validates all their suspicions and adds this dangerous personal threat. Elevates the stakes exponentially.
How does Eden react to that?
He completely panics.
Wow.
Understandably. The reality of Ickles' dangerous intent hits him. He frantically distances himself, emphasizes his own innocence, lack of involvement in the phishing or the threat, screaming, voice cracking, "You better! I'm not going down for you, Ickles! I had nothing to do with this, and whatever you plan to do with her, I want no part of that either. You got it."
His reaction further solidifies Ickles' guilt, removes any lingering doubt.
And the recording is secured. The crucial evidence. Definitive link to the phishing, irrefutable proof of the threat against Cass, direct confession in his own words, invaluable for the authorities.
Transforms their circumstantial evidence into concrete, prosecutable proof. Huge win for the investigation.
The story reaches its dramatic climax at the hotel checkout desk. Just as Cass and Jada are finishing up, Pharaoh Ickles appears, furious, threatening.
Confrontation time.
He's incandescent with rage, spewing threats and insults. But Cass, with unbelievable coolness under pressure, keeps her composure.
How does she handle it?
With extraordinary presence of mind. Instead of engaging, she calmly informs Ickles that she has already forwarded all the clues, the recordings, everything, directly to the police.
Pulls the rug right out from under him. Smart move.
Instantly strips him of any leverage, deters him from physical assault, pointing out he'd just be digging his own grave, adding assault charges.
Does it stop him?
His rage boils over. He still lunges for her.
No.
But Cass, demonstrating incredible agility, jumps aside. Ickles stumbles, ends up in an exhausted heap on the floor, scrambles back up, lunges again.
This is intense.
Cass darts out of reach again, leaving him utterly spent and defeated on the ground.
Wow. That physical altercation highlights the real danger she put herself in. Quick thinking saved her there.
Absolutely. And just then, almost poetically, hotel security arrives. Marks the shift from amateur sleuthing to official intervention.
Perfect timing.
Cass, still collected, immediately charges Ickles with attempted assault, ensuring his actions have immediate consequences.
Good. So the authorities take over now.
The resolution becomes official. Statements are given. Police back home coordinate with local police on jurisdiction for the hacking and theft charges. Multi-jurisdictional cooperation ensures Ickles faces the full consequences.
A satisfying culmination. Shows how determination and quick thinking, even navigating complex situations, can lead to justice.
Absolutely. So stepping back, this extraordinary case provides such a vivid illustration of the anatomy of a sophisticated phishing scam, doesn't it?
It really does. It powerfully demonstrates how a seemingly simple, even benevolent email-like offering a donation can be the hook leading to significant loss in a complex investigation.
That benevolent phishing angle is fascinating. Exploiting altruism, not just greed or fear, makes it more insidious, harder to detect sometimes.
Exactly. Underscores the importance of critical thinking about any unexpected email, especially those asking for logins or promoting donations from unknown sources. Always independently verify. Never click through blindly.
And what about the amateur sleuthing aspect? That was just incredible.
Undeniable. Cass and Jada, with Misty's E's reluctant blessing and Dr. J's guidance, showed amazing initiative, resourcefulness, bravery. They didn't just wait for official channels.
Right. They took proactive action, a blend of digital detective work, Dr. J's forensics, Jada's socials dives.
Yeah, Jada methodically sifting through public profiles, archives, public records linked to accounts, looking for connections, financial history, any visible patterns for the Ickles family.
Combined with classic old-school tactics.
Oh,
Overhearing conversations, shadowing, interviewing, and yes, that risky room break-in.
what sets it apart is how their personal stake and lack of conventional restrictions allowed them to pursue leads, like the room entry, that professionals might be barred from. Shows the power and the peril of going beyond official channels.
The unraveling of Ickles' motive is another key takeaway, too. His desperation losing the trust fund, the deadline, directly drove the phishing.
Yeah, powerfully illustrates how personal financial distress can be that catalyst for criminal behavior, pushing people to make destructive choices to escape their immediate predicament, often desperation, not inherent malice.
And then there's that lingering shadow of the past. Mrs. E's old job, Amar Ickles' history of fraud, illuminates that chilling pattern of deceit within the family.
Suggests these behaviors can be generational, deeply ingrained, a family trade in deceit almost. Adds that whole layer, showing the present crime wasn't isolated, but part of a larger systemic issue.
This deep dive also beautifully illustrates the critical role of support systems, right?
Absolutely critical. Mrs. E's trust in the girls, their fierce determination, Dr. J's immediate expert response, crucial for uncovering the truth. A strong network is invaluable in a crisis like this. Collaboration over isolation.
Finally, we can't ignore the ethical gray areas navigated here. The break-in, manipulating Eaton.
It raises that important, almost philosophical question for all of us. For you, what are the boundaries when desperately seeking justice, especially when conventional systems seem slow or inadequate?
There's that tension between unraveling a crime and sticking strictly to legal means. Makes you think how far you might go if you were in Mrs. E's shoes, facing such a blatant injustice.
Forces a reflection on the complexities of justice itself and the lengths people go to when facing apparent dead ends through conventional means. A testament to the drive for resolution.
What an incredible multi-layered journey, from that disastrous check-in to unraveling this complex fraud scheme, showcasing the power of observation, collaboration, and sheer determination.
And this gripping story reminds us, doesn't it, that sometimes the biggest threats aren't grand, obvious attacks, but subtle digital tricks combined with desperation and a hidden past.
So as you go about your day, what subtle clues might you be overlooking in your own digital life? Or maybe in the patterns of behavior around you that could potentially protect you from similar unseen dangers?
It's a question truly worth pondering.